Today, we're hacking ghosts. Spirits, specters, and souls of the damned, welcome to a spooky, scary special episode at Voidstar Lab. Ghosts may be folktales, but ghost hunting gadgets are products, and they allegedly work. I ordered a full paranormal toolkit and booked a night at America's most famous haunted house. But I'm a cheapskate, so I got the crappiest, cheesiest knockoff ghost hunting gizmos and gadgets I could find on Aliexpress. They made the wrong end squishy. Why is your pen blinking? This is the most chicken device I have ever owned. We had some pleasant surprises, some spectacular failures, and while I don't have a single superstitious cell in my body, I can't deny we witnessed some weirdness. This supernatural shopping spree was made possible by today's sponsor, AnchorMake. Get marketed on. The AnchorMake M5C is the absolute king of budget printers. I've been using this thing for months at this point, and it truly does make super high quality prints at 500 millimeters a second for just 400 bucks. It's got the spring steel plate, it's got the mesh leveling, and even though it does not have a screen, if you've got a phone, it's got a screen. I use the M5C to build this custom device on the bleeding edge of metaphysical research. But before we look at that, there's more. AnchorMake just launched the Make It Real platform, featuring 2 cool tools to generate spectacular printable models, no CAD required. CityPrint transforms your favorite neighborhood of your favorite urban center into a 3-dimensional topological map. This is New York's West Village. This is the basement, where Voidstar Lab got its start, and this is the rooftop where Brooke and I got married. Then there's 3D paint. This turns any image into eye-popping pop art by stacking contrasting colors of filament. As wild as this looks, you don't actually need a multi-material printer. It's optimized to need so few filament changes, you can do this by hand. A program to make these has been making the rounds, but 3D paint isn't just free. It runs right in your browser, no downloads required. Check the links in the description to save $40 off the already crazy cheap M5C and try Make It Real for yourself. The ghosts are waiting, so let's make like a rock and get rockin'. Ghosts, ghosts, ghosts. Spooky 1, 2, 3. In the mid-2000s, the pursuit of poltergeists was suddenly turbocharged. Ghost-seeking geeks were swapping their Ouija boards for circuit boards, and supernatural sightings massively spiked. In part because these new sensitive sensors just made a lot of artifacts that looked a lot like ghosts. And in part because compared to all the doofy woo-woo stuff, paratechnology looks cool as hell on camera. The TV show Ghost Hunters first aired in 2004 and followed a gang of dude bros armed to the teeth with esoteric electronics and a very simple mission. Find a building where a tragedy took place, barge in, and shriek their f***ing faces off. They popularized paratechnology, and with popularity came a market. And where there's a market, there's an innovator there to make a buck. And where there's a buck to be made, there's a chicken Chinese manufacturer offering to sell you the same thing for 35 cents. So I picked up 5 budget-friendly versions of the most iconic ghost hunting gizmos, and we hit the road to put the question to rest. Which are piles of hot ectoplasm and which deserve the boo ribbon? To maximize the spectral sample size, we are going to spend the night at one of the ghost hunters' favorite haunts. Ha! It's one of America's most allegedly supernaturally active locations, and it's conveniently located less than 2 hours away. Welcome to the beautiful mountain village of Estes Park, Colorado, home of the notorious Stanley Hotel. This hotel isn't just haunted. The Stanley allegedly has a whole roster of ghosts. A cowboy kisses ladies to sleep, a fop in a top hat struts around like a peacock, a pack of brats barrels down the 4th floor hallway throwing guest laundry all over the floor. Icy apparitions block couples, bathtubs levitate, and Freeland Oscar Stanley himself has been posthumously spotted sipping booze, shooting pool, and noodling away on the lobby's piano. I booked us one of the Stanley's most spirited rooms, the Sunset Suite. This was once part of the presidential suite, where in 1911, a gas explosion fired a housekeeper out of the 2nd-story window. They say her spirit tidies the room to this very day, even though she survived the blast, lived for 30 more years, and died in her own home. It's ghost logic. Brooke. Ghost left us a bottle of champagne, and it's still cold. There was no time to waste. We deployed our Eldritch arsenal, and while Brooke tested the champagne, I tested our first item, a particularly flashy EMF meter. If you've seen Supernatural, you're familiar with this blinky contraption. If you haven't seen Supernatural, you are going to miss a lot of references today. The Winchesters were waving around a prop, but you can get the real deal for just $20.09. This is the Habotest HT627 multi-field meter. This is like a fancy version. It's got features. We have nothing in here except actually a rather handsome semi-soft case, and it is not easy to get this out of here. Accessories sold separately, batteries not included. See a doctor if your haunting lasts more than 4 hours. Oh, I heard beeping, a lot of chirping, a lot of lights. There's a lot of stuff going on here. That's why I bought this one, because this looked the most like the EMF meter from Supernatural. It's not flexing in the hand, it feels nice and solid. It's beeping, like chirping non-stop, presumably to make the EMF meter sound like a Geiger counter. Luckily, we can shut that off. These lights here don't seem to be doing anything. Just light up and play an animation for the hell of it. This is so tacky. So what exactly is an EMF meter? Let's see what the manual has to say. EMF detector is a portable health and safety field detector, which can detect AC magnetic field, oh god. Is mainly used to detect and evaluate the impact on human body of non-ionizing electromagnetic field. You will know if you're being cooked in a microwave. I don't know what I find more offensive, the idea of detecting ghosts or the idea that non-ionizing radiation can affect the human body. This is stupid. So an EMF meter detects the presence of radio waves. It's not like a spectrum analyzer. It doesn't know what frequency they are. It just detects just how much electromagnetic activity there is passing through the device. Frisky spirits allegedly make lights flicker and cameras glitch out. So if you can detect electromagnetic fields, EMF, you've got the motion tracker from Aliens, but for ghosts. Remember, ghosts have to operate in the ISM band or they need to get a license from the FCC. Something's happening. Must be a ghost. As the readings rise, the backlight changes from green to pumpkin orange to red rum red. Scary warnings start flashing, the needle meter-like bar graph jumps around, and the lights up top just keep blinking in the exact same way.
Haunted lamp, haunted clock, haunted thermostat.
Isn't it so weird that everything that says is haunted has AC current flowing through it? I wonder if that lamp over there is also haunted. What are the odds? Could be haunted by French ghosts. I want to reiterate, these lights do literally nothing. They are just blinking on an animation. 100% bullshit. The magnetometer mode is not much better. We're going to switch this into magnetometer mode.
Are you going to tell me the tales of the vampires?
The tale of the vampire. The call was coming from beyond the grave. It doesn't even really work. Like, it's bored with the magnet. The reading does spike, but then it almost immediately drops back to zero. It only works when the magnet or the meter is moving, which basically makes it worthless. And that is not the only way this feature tries to hornswoggle you. The magnetic field sensor has this handy diagram on it, but it just adds them all together. So this is just for show. Wait, why was there a magnet? Switch it on to its final mode.
Hang on. This is...
Finally, we have RF mode, which covers Bluetooth, some Wi-Fi, and certain 5G cell signals Bill Gates used to brainwash vaccines into giving microchips COVID. We immediately ran into a bit of a problem. Since the Stanley Hotel is in a dinky mountain town, cell phones have to transmit extra hard to hit the nearest tower. Almost every room was occupied, and every person on the premises has a phone. So there was just way too much interference for a ghost to get a word in edgewise. We are going to have to revisit this later when we leave the hotel. So the verdict. The HS627's readings are inconsistent and imprecise, and while it does a lot of stuff, most of that stuff is obvious lies. As such, I award the HS627 Fergus Crowley out of 10. The sun started setting on the Stanley Sunset Suite, so my sweetheart and I sat and sipped champagne as it slid out of sight. If we were going to spot ghosts at night, our vision would need goggles. This is not like a night vision goggle. Turns out even a pair of Aliexpress night vision goggles still cost thousands and thousands of dollars. I had to lower my standards. This is an infrared flashlight on a camera. What makes a piece of footage ghost footage? A ghost? F that. Authentic ghost footage is shaky, blown out, and most importantly, grainy black and white. This is the NV1000 night vision 36 megapixel 4K monocular, and for $39.12 it promises all that and more. Let's see if it truly does, and I quote, "Let the night be like the day." Is 4K actually 36 megapixels? Hang on. It's not enough, it's only 8 megapixels. Without further ado, let's see. Micro USB, throw that straight in the trash. I ordered the camo version because we want to get the drop on the ghosts. This is the display, and this is the camera, except it's squishy. Why would they make the camera part squishy? Shouldn't they make the part your eye looks through squishy? They made the wrong end squishy. Got an infrared flashlight here. It's gonna bounce off the ghost, and if the ghost doesn't absorb it, we're gonna see it. Ghostly tweezers, spooky tweezers. The NV1000 doesn't really shoot 4K, but it still shoots a 2160-ish pixel square and stretches it to 4K. It is compressed to hell, but like, why didn't they just lie? The picture is nice and crisp. Infrared floodlight is extremely bright. I am actually pleasantly surprised. This thing seems to be doing exactly what it said on the tin. Check out this creepy tribute to an audio tech said to still be twiddling knobs 20 years after he died on this very couch. It's also got some range too. This is the Stanley projecting red rum high up on one of the buildings. And they do this, yet tell their staff to say spirited instead of haunted. And then we get to this footage. This VCR tracking noise and this weird flickering grid are not glitches. These are evidence of ghosts. I'm just f***ing with you. These are infrared grids from depth cameras. This one is my iPhone's face detector, and this one will be relevant later. The camera is easy to use with big buttons and dead simple controls, and since it has manual focus, you alone set the clarity of your Sasquatch. The infrared flashlight is really bright, and even at the lowest setting, it clearly lit up a creepy abandoned pool hall, a creepy abandoned stage, and probably a creepy ballroom. I couldn't check because when I returned with the camera, the doors had been locked. Must have been a ghost. But we can't have nice things, at least not for $39.34. The field of view is super duper narrow at just 10 degrees. Your aim has to be dead on, and that display is not a viewfinder. You have to squint at that tiny, blurry, narrow LCD from like a foot away. The default setting is also a 1-minute circular buffer. In other words, it overwrites the footage every minute. How many completely authentic ghost sightings are gonna get clobbered by 60 seconds of backpack? At least you can turn this feature off. I truly have no idea why they turned it on by default. However, a crucial setting is missing. Even at the lowest brightness, the LCD is eye-scorching bright, and it doesn't have a red light mode. Your pupils dilate, right? And the instant you look through this thing in pitch darkness, you are blind. I challenged myself to bumble through the Stanley's hedge maze using nothing but the NV1000, and visibility was so poor, I only escaped when I accidentally stumbled through the shrubbery. Still, I am going to render an uncharacteristically positive verdict. I actually like this thing. The NV1000 is handy, it's easy to use, and the video is actually 4K, and it's crisp enough to be usable. If you want to spy on deer, navigate a Lego minefield, or just see if a different infrared gizmo is working, the NV1000 does a solid job at a good price. It also doesn't look like a camera, so my camera-shy puppy pal Rob didn't know he was supposed to be afraid of it. I award the NV1000 Bobby impersonating the FBI out of 10. Only an idiot would mistake it for the real deal, but it gets the job done.
Not me, the FBI, the real FBI.
Blinded by brightness and covered in hedge-ado, I returned to my ghost hunting toy box. I wanted revenge on that labyrinthine foliar bastard. It was time to unveil some cutting-edge ghost technology. What you are about to see here is cutting-edge ghost technology. There is no off-the-shelf device specifically used by paranormal investigators to do what I'm about to do. This turned out to not be true, but also still kind of true. You'll see. Anyways, I knew I was in for a treat when this thing arrived without any packing material whatsoever. They just fucking put my address on this label here, threw the thing in, threw it in the mail. We get the A100 depth camera. It's yours for just 69 bucks. Nice. So this projects a special pattern of dots, and this detects it. The sensor will be able to detect how far the dot moves, and from there it can infer a map of the depth. Here's what else we get. A terrible USB cable, and we get a label. No instruction manuals. We get a label. My friend, thank you for purchasing our AI robot kits. When you received the goods, please download the relevant documents and source code. If you can't download it, please email me, stemrobot2022@gmail.com. Have a good time. AI Vision Robot Store. They didn't shorten this URL. They expect you to type this all in by hand to download the SDK. And you know what? Like a chump, I did. There's Windows, Mac, and Linux. Couldn't get any of those to work. There's Source for compiling for Android. Couldn't get that to work. There is no mounting hardware, no instructions. You know what documentation they include? Nothing. There's no documentation for this product at all. Just here you go, figure it out, f*** you. The only thing I could figure out how to work were the Android demos, and my heads-up display runs Android. So the original plan was to construct some sort of augmented reality ghost hunting wearable. But there was a problem. It's very hefty. It's very weighty. Yeah, what do you say we pop this thing open and see what's what? So I can see why it's so heavy now. This is made of metal. Like, there's not much in it. It's just all mounted to a metal frame. It's all metal. This heavy solid metal chassis turned out to be a real pain in the neck, so I decided to make it handheld. I stripped my old wearable computer for parts, I slapped on a display, and I fired up the AnchorMake M5C, the sponsor of this very video. Behold, the structured photonic observation of occult phenomena with integrated touchscreen recording and onboard NP770 battery, codename Spoopitron. The Spoopitron sweeps the area with an invisible infrared grid, and if there are any ghosts or ghouls about, they only need to deflect a few photons a few millimeters to appear on screen. This depth cam, the A100, is designed to detect people, so it should emphasize any human figures in range. Unfortunately, that range turned out to be extremely limited. Anything much closer or further than 3 feet just wouldn't show up, and even then, only reflective and white surfaces would render reliably. That's right, the A100 depth camera is racist. Still, it was better for navigating the hedge maze, and seeing random objects in 3D topological mapovision was pretty cool. This could have made a neat 3D scanner or like a LiDAR substitute for a robot if its range weren't as shallow as my personality and if there was a single word of documentation. So here's why I keep harping on why I think this thing is advanced. I saw the other items on ghost hunting shows, but I didn't see anyone using anything like this. I picked this one up after reading a creepypasta about someone's Kinect detecting people that weren't there. I thought I was innovating, but it turns out the wackadoodles are way ahead of the curve. You can buy devices just like this off the shelf at high-end ghost hunting suppliers, which exist. They call it a structured light scanner and charge a hefty haunted premium, just like the Stanley did with my hotel room. It actually says haunted in their system and applies an upcharge. You know what they say, a pool in their money or soon farted. Still, I didn't find any self-contained structured light scanners on Aliexpress. I had to build this myself, it still counts. It's only fitting that this hacked together, barely functional accidental ripoff was the first to actually detect a spirit.
Hang on, I'm definitely picking up some spirits.
I rate the A100 depth camera one burger chain CEO who's secretly a Leviathan out of 10, because it barely does anything and no one can write anything good for it. At this point, I had half a bottle of champagne, a flight of scotch, a nice Manhattan, and another scotch as I checked if the fireplace was haunted. I wasn't getting any readings, but the globe had the USSR on it, the ghost of communism. I was feeling it. I was in the perfect state of mind to impulse buy tickets to an authentic seance. That means this next part isn't so much a review as it is a seance experiment. This is 13, the Stanley's nightly spooky parlor magic seance type thing. Each show has just 12 participants and one medium named Hannibal. His chair had a bowler hat and he meant business. It was the perfect proving ground for our fourth item, the professional voice record, coming in at $10.71. A sensitive mic, they say, can capture ghostly whispers too faint and fleeting for human ears. Playing back the recordings reveals the electronic voice phenomena. But this voice recorder is special. This is a voice recorder pen. Voice recorders are so popular with ghost facers, I figure the Revenant regulars will recognize the classic gumstick recorder right off the bat. I want them to feel comfortable talking. Colorado is a one-party consent state, so I don't need to get the ghost permission to record our conversation. This is the most half-assed attempt at fake carbon fiber I've ever seen. This is awful. It looks like something an 80s businessman would throw out. How does this work? Unscrew the down pen case. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Insert the golden finger of the TF card into the T slot. Oh, so this thing here is an SD card. It has a quality assurance stamp on the back to show that somebody has rubber stamped it. The interface is dead simple. Dead simple. Click the button down to start recording, click it back up to stop. It seems like a clever interface until you see how badly they beef the landing. So hopefully no one's paying too close attention, because they'll see you click your pen and then twist it to get the thing out. So when we push the button, you see a light goes off. So if you were to try to use this clandestinely, someone's going to be like, why is your pen blinking? But the manual didn't stop there. It should have, but it didn't. After inserting the wire-controlled headset, how do we... Wait, what? There is actually a missing accessory, a pair of micro USB earbuds that turn this recorder pen into an MP3 player pen. The micro USB port, I'll remind you, is inside the pen. You just have to unscrew your pen to use your pen as an MP3 player. Who wouldn't want to jam out to Fleetwood Mac on half a pen dangling from your earbuds? I'm calling it. MP3 players that require you to field strip a writing instrument are going to be the flip phones of 2024. Sadly, I did not get the earbuds, so I could only test the headlining feature. It did come with a bribe. Oh, we get a fistful of cash. Do they know what $3 looks like? Because that is $4. Mic check, testing 1, 2, 3. If you are a ghost, say boo. Mic check. Mic. The audio is actually pretty good. It's at least crisp enough for Premiere Pro to transcribe, and it saves it in raw WAV files, so Doubting Thomases can't blame the whispers from beyond on compression artifacts. But then I realized there were other WAV files already on this SD card, hours of them. Did my ghost hunting instrument arrive pre-haunted? As I scrubbed through, hoping a friendly EVP would explain what the hell was going on, I realized what I was hearing. It wasn't the souls of the damned. It was engine noise. There is nothing in this packaging to keep the pieces from jangling around during shipping. So every time somebody throws the box, the pen whacks against the side of the box, it clicks it on, and it records the next hour until it's automatically shut off. I forgot something important. I never tested whether this thing can write. Oh, ink preloaded, comes with ammo. There we go, a ghost. Just in case you don't know it's a ghost. The thing he's wearing is his boo sheet. After purging 6 hours of first-person overseas logistics, I prepared for a good old-fashioned seance.
It's out of fucking battery.
The pen was out of battery.
It must be the ghosts. They don't want to be detected.
They're professional ghosts. They've been doing this shit for like 100 years.
Well, luckily it recharges quickly and I tested it ahead of time.
I will now deploy the pen. I missed. Take 2. So I have a tight pocket. I waited till marriage.
Totally inconspicuous pen tucked into totally adequately sized shirt pocket, I took my seat at the seance. I love me some good parlor tricks, and out of respect for Hannibal's charming patter, I'm not going to spoil the fun by playing the recording. I will play some of the tense silence, because that's where the EVPs are supposed to chime in. That noise was me jumping out of my chair as a Ouija plankette spontaneously fired itself in my direction.
Fan chat?
Are we gonna look it up? No cut, we're recording this.
Fine chat.
It is?
You suck!
That noise was me jumping out of my chair as a Ouija planchette spontaneously fired itself in my direction. I love parlor tricks. But when I downloaded and processed the recordings, things got deeply spooky. This part is dead serious. I am engaging my serious face. So when I put audio into Premiere Pro, it automatically transcribes it. The results began. Come on, it was a bloody murder, probably. I'll admit, I was laying some anal masonry. Every word turned out to just be the text-to-speech AI being an AI on random noise. Except the words bloody murder. I have never heard that voice before. And the rest of the recording is weird warbling, faint music, and video game bling noises. I don't recognize any of this. This file was not there when we left for the Stanley, and I have no clue when or where I captured it. As for the pen itself, between the girthy body, obvious button, and blinking fucking lights, this is not fooling anyone. This is second grade make-believe spy shit. I award this voice recorder pen Metatron out of 10 because it's fat and stupid and I hate listening to it. Our final device is also an EMF meter, but there is a very important difference between the contents of this box and the HS627. The previous one at least put up the pretense of taking itself seriously, but this one is the only piece of ghost hunting equipment in this video specifically designed for hunting ghosts. As you'll soon see, the word designed is being applied very loosely. It even says ghost hunting on it, so you know they're not fucking around. Ghost hunting and bleeding font. This is a bizarre shrink wrap that's like crispy. Get in there. And inside, oh my god, this is it. This is the Ghost Hunting Detector Portable EMF. It has detector twice. The Ghost Hunting Detector Portable EMF Magnetic Field Detector Party Products Halloween New Arrival. It fucking has detector twice. This doesn't even come with instructions. This is literally all there is. There's nothing else in the box. It's got the ghost face killer from Scream, who was not a ghost. It was just a dude with a knife. It actually comes with a battery, so 9-volt battery included. It is over 9 volts. Oh man, they got so many ghosts in here. This thing feels flimsy, it feels cheap. I feel like if I gave it a good grip, it would just crumble in my hand. Oh god, look at how much the plastic is bowing. At $35.77, this is almost twice the price of its competition, despite not having a brand. It doesn't even have a name. Instead of having branding or a description of what the product is, it has a picture of a ghost, and it's like raised and shiny. It's like embossed, debossed even. Why do they need branding if ghosts exist? I gotta call this thing something, so I ran the keyword salad through the what is your werewolf name chart that gave us Moon. Will the alpha spot of my paranormal pack go to Dark Fang? The instant I powered up Dark Fang, I knew I had something special. Not like special. The other kind of special. We have one antenna, one LED, and one switch. That's it. Nothing else. There's no volume knob. There's no tuning controls. There is nothing except an on-off switch and a sticker of a ghost that's not even a ghost.
What's this thing even sensing?
We have no idea what this... We have no idea what this is responding to, right? Like, oh, for Christ's sakes. Perhaps some clues were buried within Dark Fang's circuitry. So I prepared for a teardown expecting some jank. So yeah, we have a security Torx bit because we do not want people tampering with the supernatural. But I could never have expected this. Okay, so inside we have a piezo disc, a very simple circuit board, and a tremendous amount of hot glue. You can see the antenna is not attached to the case. It's not mounted anywhere. It's just glued down. So this obviously started life as a different piece of electronics and was crudely retrofitted into a ghost detector. The LED and the piezo disc are wired in parallel, so there's no way to turn the sound off on this. They are literally the same circuit. This is another level. Let's look up what chip this is. HEF 4096. Wait, did I read that wrong? 4069. Ah, nice. So this just takes a 1 and brings it to 0 and vice versa. Why is that near the battery? Okay, this is really weird. I don't really understand what's going on here. The ghosts make it work. The ghosts must form part of the circuit. There was just one last lead. Dark Fang's Aliexpress page, the place where this all began. I am going to read you Dark Fang's entire description because it's one of the funniest things I've ever read, and there's no way I could possibly make this funnier. Aside from a camera, Beside from a camera, the most basic... Enough. Beside from a camera, the most basic tool for a ghost hunter is the EMF meter. When ghostly activity takes palche, electromagnetic anomalies can often occur in the environment. This detector can allow you to detect these disturbances. Why did they fuck up just the first one? It's in the title twice. Find hotspots in homes, in cemeteries, in buildings. We guarantee that an evening visit to a cemetery with the meter is an experiences that will thrill you. Go in a small group and you will have a lot of fun. Conduct paranormal surveys comes with instructions. Bullshit. You may charge for those services or do them for pleasure. If you take a photo when the ghost detector indicates strange fluctuaton, you can sometimes capture a picture of ghost. Features indicator, audio, and light so you can monitor activity in the dark and from far away. Search www.google.com for ghost picture, and you will find thousands of ghost clubs worldwide. Have fun and do no be afraid. Most ghosts are friendly. A great gift! And under that text is a picture, and that picture is indescribable. If you've been listening, tab over and look at this picture. That's not even a ghost, that is a vampire. It is, in fact, a painting called Awakening by artist Tom Wood, a fantasy illustrator whose portfolio consists almost entirely of bootleg posters for the insane clown Bossy. I know exactly what happened here. The seller searched www.google.com for ghost picture! Dawn was breaking, yet Dark Fang's true nature and our phantom quarry continued to elude us.
Any ghosts that want to be famous, now is the time to come out.
Brooke and I enjoyed a late 3-hour brunch and hit the road one last time. Brooke and I are stuck in traffic on the way to Black Hawk, Colorado. I mean, technically we had to drive home after this, but it's more dramatic this way. Dark Fang's description clearly says, if you bring this to a cemetery, you're guaranteed to find something. And I want my money back. That's why Brooke and I are headed to our final destination, Black Hawk, Colorado. Population 127 and 0 double entendres. We aren't just going to a cemetery, we are going to a Masonic cemetery. The world's most famous secret society, which I guess makes them not very good at being secret. Dark Fang might help us uncover a conspiracy. We have definitive proof that the Masonic Cemetery in Black Hawk, Colorado is haunted. On Google.com, one of the most reputable websites, we found an anonymous question. Is this place really haunted? It had an answer from local guide Aaron Roberts, and what he said will chill you. Yes, definitely. At the time of recording, Aaron Roberts has 66 reviews and 6 photos. If Dark Fang doesn't behave here, we're gonna have to throw it out of the pack. Oh, look how scenic this is. This state is so beautiful. And so is my driver. We took this busy highway to a deserted highway, to a side street, to a back street, to a dirt road, to an even dirtier road, and finally pulled in to the Masonic Cemetery. We killed the engine and powered down our phones. A somber silence descended over us like a burial shroud. We could hear nothing beyond our own heartbeats, the whistling wind, and a bunch of teenagers sliding a pickup truck down a hill. I didn't actually enter the cemetery. It is the Masons' private property, and like hell I'm picking a fight with a secret society so ballsy it puts itself on Google Maps. I approached the cemetery, cautiously extended Dark Fang's aerial, and flipped the switch. And this piece of spectral shit started beeping even harder than it did at the fucking Stanley. What incarnation? We're gonna go back to the car and we're gonna get the other EMF reader. But it showed nothing in EMF mode. In RF mode, the closer I got to the dilapidated headstones, the more ballistic both meters went. Look how much RF there is. This isn't coming from our stuff because I've got the GoPro and my phone both in airplane mode. This tiny graveyard at the top of a hill in a town of 127 was saturated with radio waves. But then I saw it, just beyond the crumbling headstones, rising from the tree line, was a motherfucking cell tower. It's just picking up porn. I mean, statistically speaking, it's gotta be like 80% porn. I'm still not sure what Dark Fang actually does, but it is so sporadic and so sloppy, I can tell it's doing it badly. It's obnoxious, it's worthless, and its absolute lack of self-awareness is downright glorious. Therefore, I award Dark Fang 10 Garths out of 10.
How are you still alive?
And after all that, I can't even make good on that so-called guarantee. We tried the cemetery, and I am far from thrilled. But we shot this in the late afternoon, not the evening, because we wanted to get barbecue on the way home. Caveat emptor, memento mori, monotremes viviparous, ovum meriblastic. And that was our bargain bin paranormal odyssey through Colorado's Rocky Mountains. We learned some very important lessons. Ghosts aren't real, cheap tech sucks, and Scotch whiskey is some good shit. I gotta thank our patrons for enabling this quixotic quest. We had to do over 6 hours of driving uphill both ways, and since the Stanley was not interested in helping me out in any way, this entire thing had to be paid out of pocket. Each episode, I thank 3 random lab scientist supporters, and today's lucky few are more like seancists. Thank you, Schleeky, Jeremy Tice, and Thanes 3D. Special thanks to our collaborators, Microwave, ZomboDB, What the Chuck, Bitrot, Schleppy the Schwagster, SXP, The Benevolent Misanthrope, E the iPie, Chris, Dysfunctional Potato, The Suits Who Are Fun, and Turner Zay. Their Comic Sans cenotaphs have become permanent parts of Voidstar Lab, and I've hidden their names somewhere in this video, as cunningly as a pen hides a voice recorder. If you're watching this in 2123 and your ocular implants are seeing ghosts, they are probably our lab assistant supporters. A pre-posthumous ripperoni and pepperoni, 4 cross-threadings just free Loctite, double the threads, double the strength. Kevin DeGraff, Big Bird Tommy Wacko's Bump of the Night, Dr. Mrs. the Merman in bed. Martin Titonium, Danny Devoid of Life, Matthew Arrington, Talon Democratic Socialist, and Pretty Righteous Dude Zack. Micah, I was always secretly jealous of my brother's sweet homemade spaceman Halloween costumes. Friedman. Noah B. Johnson, Callsign Carrot, visit oma3dprints.com for all your 3D printed RPG product needs. John loves Jen, Sticks like the river, not the band. Trump did nothing wrong, burn it. Jamie, Zach Harvey with a C, not a K. Hi Lexi, Agent Maxwell, Acorn, my husband watches, now I'm too, so hi to me and Urch. I inspired the Next Layers YouTube channel, so you guys should check it out. Brooke and I are glad you and your family are safe and sound. Nova Ren, VPS Data, Olive Robbins, Mike Kelly, Doom Crew Inc., Blammo, Cameron McPherson, Haley Kerman, Cody, the Lizards are watching Zack, King Willem of Orange the Banished, Down with Nat the Usurpers, Amphorian, Amanishi, Dax Dartley, Success Checks, Cacophony of Failure, Varka, Burndark 3, Travis Hippa, Thunder Chicken, Iron Rain, Cameron Ogletree, Trans Rights, Moonkin, Rusty Flute, Sunburnt Cat, Pussy Nugget, Quantumly Tangled, Scroto Sagan, Samuel Roosh. Colin J. Webb says the Empire was not justified in the destruction of Alderaan, even though the violent rebels hid there. VK2KTJ, Spire, Rinry, Man on Broken Horse, the artist formerly known as Handless. Michael Roche, Period Clot, Circle Zero, Nuclear 314, Bradley Carter, Lydia K. Brad, Cox 603, Viwatch, Bootsy Von Poopstein, Ornus Nair, Bum Tickley 69, Socks McGox, Kermit the OG Frog, Good Lady Nat, Queen of Lemons, Victor of the Great Citrus Wars, Renault Bataille. Bataille? I don't know French. Granville Schmidt, but seriously, ladies and gentlemen, Cyborgs, every name I just read out loud is fake. Seriously, on with the real subscribers. Cockatoo Birdman Bill, Ready Lucy Lefty Tidy, 6865675, Craft Computing, Zapf. That wasn't Zack spelled wrong, and I was pronouncing it wrong. It actually is Zapf. Adam Birch, SKL Elite Giant, Emily, Roger Pickham of the Great Star Theater, Protagonist, Powerful CCH, Anthony Evans, Carnamon, Not a Digimon, Bill Schooler, Jason, Dennis Kemp, Paul Gibbs, Zapf. That was me mispronouncing somebody spelling Zack wrong. Aaron Steers, Topher, Azunda Wheel of Iron, Heater of Shrink, Creamy McCream's Creamiest Creme Crematory, possibly Cemetery, Vigelli, Bob Forbes, The Cudgel Fish, Steven 6 foot 6 figure 6-pack Schulte, Bryn 6 foot 5 figure Forlorn Wolf Schulte, someone's Bitcoin wallet, Steve's dad, General Buck Turgidson, Stormby Design, DBD, Cliff Henning, My Dog is a Bear, Michael Creamer Jr., Nathan Johnson, Incognito, The Monk, even Bluetooth has a right to repair, Shane Frederick, probably not 3 raccoons in a trench coat, Kink Shaming Walrus, The Antifa, Onyx Plague, Michael, Bob Dobbington, Measure Once, Cut Twice, Reglue, Cut Again, Advanced AI, building real Christopher since 2023, look me up if you want one, formerly known as Juicy Legend, Drinker of Miranda, Good Suck, Max Legend, why do you keep calling him Max Legend? Well, because his luck is right under legend. Max Luck is a bag-stabbing barbarian, Eddie, Quality Doggo, and Boulder Creek Yard James. I blame everything that went wrong in this episode on you. You're my scapegoat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you from beyond the grave!
Ghost testicles.
Ghosticles!